illuminated. I see you watching, I know you hate it. We done woke up, re-educated off of Jubilees. Demonstrate a new nation, come of age. A long way high from them slavery days. Let my people in before we kick the door. Had them up tees coming with the swords. We born more, reduce to black. Lace my boots up, cause I ain't having that. Call me a citizen, no, I'm a national. King Kendrick Seal, they calling me a radical. Cause I'm outside the box and I ain't looking in. I be my riff knocked out, gray shadowed in. Europeanized mindset, hammered in. The great fall of the Moor man, I was on my square, on my five. Consciousness on overdrive, mind state on high. Praise Allah that I'm alive. Awake from the grave, in the sea full of lies. I come to claim it's mine, so step back. It's that time, it's the return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. It's the return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. Return of the Moors.
What's up, y'all? Y'all see what it is? We'll pause that right there. And so y'all can, this is the type of stuff I'm into, trying to uplift for all of humanity. This is what the Europeans have dubbed Black History Month. I don't believe in black. I don't believe that a human being can be black. I just don't believe that. So what are we if we're not black? We can't be black. We can't be colored. We can't be anything that those slaveholders, the names that they've given us. And, so when we talk about history, let's talk about real history. Let's talk about someone who the history books have left out. And it's a reason why they left them out, in my opinion. It's a reason why they left them out. The brother's name is Noble Drew Ali, and I need you to write this name down for those who are paying attention to me, listening to me, because I don't be on no garbage. I'm trying to learn you something and teach me something at the same time. So listen, we have a brother named Noble Drew Ali. He is dubbed by his followers, people like me, he is dubbed as a prophet. Why? Why do we dub him a prophet? First of all, a prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. He is just a messenger come to bring a message. He is an angel of Allah who was sent to bring a message. And Noble Drew Ali, born in the state of North Carolina in 1886, he was said to be the child of two ex-slaves. He was said to be the child of two ex-slaves. This man here has done more for humanity as a whole than some groups of so-called leaders have done in many, many years combined. But he did it. He was said to be a man of small stature, but big-hearted. And, he did what was necessary, what was planned by God to do. And that was, he went out to the people. He spoke to the people. He talked to the people. He uplifted the people. He went and sat with the poor. Went and sat with the thieves, the courtesans. But let me give you a little history on this man, because I want to tell you some of the stuff that history books don't tell us about us. Noble Drew Ali was born in the state of North Carolina in 1886. He is the first man to ever bring the religion of Islam over here to these northern shores of America. He is the first man. If there was no Noble Drew Ali, there would be no Fard Muhammad, there would be no Elijah Muhammad, and because of that, there would be no Minister Louis Farrakhan, who we love so dearly. But this brother Noble Drew Ali is the first person who brought Islam over here to these shores. Now, what's the significance of that? Let me tell you. First of all, this happened in the early 1900s when brothers was getting their heads cut off. They was getting lynched. All types of things was happening to them. And the fear that was inflicted upon the people during this time was so great that not many of our leaders stood up. Not many of our leaders wanted to stand up. But this brother here, he didn't even consider himself a leader. He just stood up. That's what makes him stand out amongst so many, is because he stood up in the early 1900s. He stood up to the government. His way was paved. His way was paved. The ground must be prepared before the plotter plants the seed. The ground was prepared for him by brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who was born in 1887 in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica. So this brother Noble Drew Ali, he is said to have been a child of two former slaves. His father was said to have been African slave, over here, of course, and his mother was said to be of Cherokee descent. He was born in the state of North Carolina in 1886 on January 8th. During this time, it is reported. This is facts. Go look up in your weather history. This is facts. It was reported that there was a solar eclipse at the time of his birth. A solar eclipse. Now, Noble Drew Ali died, I think he was like 6 or 7 years old when his mother passed away. And so he was being raised by his auntie. His aunt, yes. So his aunt, this was in like 1892. So his aunt is said to have put the young boy, Noble Drew Ali, who was born Timothy Drew, she put him in a hot furnace, fire burning. And fire consumed him. But miraculously, he lived. He was placed in a hot furnace and lived. Now, why am I telling you this? How is this part of history? Let me tell you, just listen. That was the 6th year. That was the 6th year. The 7th year. 7 is the perfect number. Jesus obtained 7 degrees while in the ancient schools of Egypt. He obtained 7 degrees. And therefore, he obtained the number and the logo, the mystic logo and number, which became known as the circle 7. The circle 7. That was Jesus' mystic name and number, the circle 7. So Noble Drew Ali, as he emerged from that furnace and people began to say that he knew how to move things with his mind, just move objects. He knew how to levitate with his mind. This was just a young boy. He knew how to levitate because he operated from the mind and not the body. Because there in thy mind, thy soul resideth. There in thy brain, thy soul resideth. And the brain is the housing of the mind. He operated from this. And so Noble Drew Ali became, when he turned 16, he began standing out on the corner teaching and preaching and lifting people up and giving people hope and inspiring them. Just a young boy standing on a corner, standing on a milk crate, speaking to the people. And so because of his connection with Cherokee through his mother and his connection to Africa through his father, and let me be clear, Cherokee is African too. But for the sake of informing you and giving you the history of Noble Drew Ali and who he is, I have to put it that way, to separate, to bring together the two. The separation is Africa, Cherokee Indian. The connection is they are one. But because we in this westernized world have not been taught that Cherokee, that we cannot have Cherokee in us because we are the original people. If anything, Cherokee will have us in them. But we embrace it because we understand the misconceptions of life. But anyway, let me continue. So Noble Drew Ali joined a group of what people would refer to as circus performers. You know, let me just give you some insight on a circus performer, because oftentimes when someone does not look like us, act like us, or think like us, we say they're weird. Someone does certain things and are into computers, those are the weirdos, the nerds. Well, Noble Drew Ali operated from the mind so much that he began to do things that people refer to as magic. But it wasn't magic. That was him. It wasn't magic. That was Noble Drew Ali. He was actually performing feats of mind power that people could not understand, and so they assumed and considered it to be magic. Are y'all following me? So let's go. So now he joined a journey of men over to Egypt. It was said that these were Egyptian adepts who found this young boy, Jesus, whom had been performing magic acts on corners and lifting up people and resurrecting people from a dead state of mind. Because as he said, we're not out of slavery yet, because we have the worst part of slavery still in us, and that's the mind. We're mentally enslaved right now. So he come to free us of that mental slavery. He come to free us of those names that delude to slavery, such as Negro, colored, black, and Ethiopian. Those names were given to slaveholders by slaveholders in 1779 and last in 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nation of the earth. This is why Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, was sent to redeem his people from their sinful ways. This is why he was sent to, because he was sent to redeem us from our sinful ways. He was sent to enlighten us, give us who we really were, tell us who we really were, because Allah sent him for a reason. He was just a young boy. So he went over to Egypt. Jesus was taught in the Egyptian schools of thought, and these mystic schools. This is where Jesus earned his 7 degrees. And so these Egyptian adepts, they blindfolded Noble Drew Ali, and they put him in the pyramids. He was either going to perish or he was going to find his way out. He was going to find his way out. It takes this to find your way out. Later that day, not some other day, later that same day, Noble Drew Ali appeared between the feet of the Sphinx outside the pyramids. In other words, he overcame the challenges of being blindfolded, placed into a pyramid, and left to either perish or find his way out. He found his way out later that same day, not distressed, not full of anxiety, not upset, but feeling a sense of accomplishment because he know that he was sent here for a reason. And so he found his way out and was standing at the foot of the Sphinx, between the feet of the Sphinx. Later, he had his pilgrimage, and he was given a name over in Egypt by some Arabs. He was given the name Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. But he didn't want to be referred to by that because he wanted to be referred to by the name that his people gave him. He didn't call himself Prophet Noble Jew Ali. It was the people who bestowed this great and noble title upon him. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Why? Because the people needed a pattern for their lives. They love to follow and not to lead. But the man who stands upon the corners of the path and points the way but does not go is just a point, and a block of wood can do the same. But Noble Jew Ali, he went that way. He took the people that way. He showed him how he was walking, why he was walking, who sent him, how they can reconnect with the same entity that sent him. They didn't need him as a middleman or any other middleman to connect them to their God. This is Brother Noble Drew Ali, born Timothy Drew in the state of North Carolina in 1886. Brought Islam to these northern shores of America in the early 1900s when people was getting their heads cut off. People was getting hung. It was said that it was reported that he went over to Egypt, and when he came back on a plane, the government officials was plotting on him and waiting because they was going to take all of them books that he was learning from. They knew his power was growing because he had already established temples in 26, 27 different cities and places. By the early 1900s, when he first called the temple the Canaanite Temple, before he changed the name to the Moorish Temple of Science, and then it became the Moorish Science Temple of America, still known to this very day. The government was waiting on him to get off that plane with those books so they could take those books, because they knew that they did not want us to have books. They didn't want us to have books. They still don't want us to have books. Noble Drew Ali came empty-handed. They say, where are those books that you learned from and you supposed to be bringing over here? Where are they at? He said, right here. You could take the physical book, but you can't take nothing out of my mind, period. And so my lesson today is for us to learn what we can. Know what makes us move. Know who made us move. Know who got us from point A to point Z. If there was no Noble Drew Ali, there would be no Elijah Muhammad. There would be no Fard Muhammad. And there would be no Minister Louis Farrakhan. Noble Drew Ali came as a prophet. He did his job as a prophet all the way to age 43 when he passed on. 4 + 3 = 7. He earned 7 degrees while he was in the ancient schools of Egypt. Jesus earned those same 7 degrees during his time when he was in the ancient schools of Egypt. Noble Drew Ali is not just the Moorish prophet. He is a prophet of the people, because what he came and brought to the people is a knowledge of self. He say, if only I could get you to think, I could get you to save yourself. He said, I brought everything that it takes to save a nation of people, But all he asks is that you take it and save yourself. Because if you could only save you, you've already saved so many people. Because if you don't save you, imagine the hell and destruction that you will cause to the people around you. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, if I could only get you to think, you can save yourself. This man was fortified by the impregnable doctrine of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These words that you see behind me. Noble Drew Ali is my teacher, my spiritual father, my leader, my guide. Noble Drew Ali is my inspiration. Along with so many other people, Malcolm X, one of my favorite books to read. Great, great, great leader. Minister Louis Farrakhan, honors, so many honors to that brother there. Because that brother stand up in the face of adversity. He don't shy away, don't surrender, don't retreat. I tilt my hat to that brother there. But I tilt my hat to that brother there for more than just the reason that he just stands up. I tilt my hat to that brother because he tell the truth when he stand up. Because it's a lot of brothers out here, ministers and preachers and teachers out here that stand up. But they don't tell the truth when they stand up. That's what distinguishes a real leader. I need us to learn our history. Learn about the life and works of Noble Drew Ali. Understand that he came for one purpose and one purpose only. That was to uplift all of humanity. And our Moorish questionnaire says that how did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? He said, it said by teaching them to be themselves. That's it. By teaching them to be themselves, not nobody else. Nothing spooky about this. We make it so simple that even a child could understand it. Trying to teach you how to be yourself. In other words, brother, this is not you. You're not a gangster, man. You're not a criminal. You're not anything that anyone can refer to you as. You are who you are, and God created you the way that you are. And if their power don't extend beyond his, then they have no say so in your life. That's what Noble Drew Ali came and taught us. He said, if you would ask me what to study, I will reply yourselves. That's your higher self and your lower self. Higher self is the mother virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. So he say, if you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves. Understand, you got to study your higher self and your lower self. And you would well have studied them, and you would again ask me what to study next. I would again reply yourselves. Study yourself. Stop letting people trying to tell us who we are. And let's learn about who we are. Learn who represented us. Learn who our true leaders are. Because a leader without the influence of good works cannot be a leader, period. The man who stands upon the corners of the path and points the way but does not go, it's just a point, and a block of wood can do the same. Too many people point the way, but they ain't going. So with that, I'm going to say peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. And for those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message. Pass along the message, y'all. Pass along the message. Let's learn our history. Let's learn who our true leaders were. Let's learn who our true leaders were. I give high and held honors to my brother, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, for all that he's done through me, to me, for me, by me, and all that he's given me, taught me. The angels that Allah placed around me to help me to become the man that I am today. I give honors to them. And we give undue, unlimited, lifelong, eternal praises to the one true God. The God that sustains me today. The God that speaks to me today to speak to you. We give honors to. Peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. Of those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message. Because someone needs to be inspired.